Hello, I'm Richard Crowson. For over 30 years I've been a professional cartoonist working for newspapers and magazines. I learned early on that nothing puts a smile on someone's face quicker than a cartoon, and nothing is more fun to draw. So I'd like to share with you some of the little tricks of the trade and some little guidelines that you can use to draw cartoons that will have everybody around you grinning from ear to ear. So let's get started. Welcome to cartooning lesson number 1. Today we're going to talk about the materials that cartoonists use to draw cartoons with, and we're going to talk about something called geometric shapes, which are the different shapes that we use to make up our cartoons. Let's look at a cartoon. Here's one that's already drawn for us. Here we see geometric shapes, and we'll talk about those more in detail in just a minute. But first of all, look at that. That's an oval right there for his head. Look at that triangle for his foot. There are geometric shapes all over this cartoon. So what kind of materials do cartoonists need to use? Basically, we need a pencil. Any old pencil will do. If you've got a pencil, you're set. You also might need an eraser. You might have one on the end of your pencil, or you can use a rubber eraser like this. Or professionals and lots of cartoonists like to use these kneaded erasers that you can shape into any size you need. And finally, of course, you need paper. Any paper will do as long as you can see what you're drawing on it. Okay, let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about geometric shapes. A big word, and there are 5 of these shapes that we like to use in cartooning. One is a circle. Circles can be big, or they can be tiny, even smaller than that. Also, in cartoons, we like to use ovals. There's an oval. There's an oval. Ovals can be big or little. They can point in any direction we want to point them in. All of these are ovals. We also like to use squares. Here's a square. Squares are basically 4-sided with equal distance on each of the 4 sides. Squares can be big or little, just like the other shapes we've talked about. Also, we're going to be using rectangles. Long rectangles. Rectangles that are smaller, pointing in different directions. They can be even slightly angled like that. All of these are rectangles. And finally, we need triangles. That's what a triangle looks like. A triangle can be long. It can point in any direction. All of these are triangles, and you're going to be using triangles in your drawings. So what do we have to review? We have circles, we have ovals, we have squares, we have rectangles, and we have triangles. Let's look again at that cartoon we just looked at and see if we can spot some of these different shapes in the cartoon. I'm going to just use this crayon to show them to you. Here is an oval, and here's another oval. There's an oval. His nose was made up out of an oval. His body is a rectangle. His legs are made up of rectangles. And look at the feet. Those are triangles. So we have quite a number of shapes in these cartoons already. So, to review, you got to have a pencil, you got to have paper, you got to have an eraser, and you need to know something about geometric shapes. Next lesson, we're going to talk about how to put these geometric shapes together to make your own cartoon face. This is Richard Crowson saying, get out there and start cartooning.